Hello everyone. In this video we will talk about how we can share data inside Unreal Engine. In order to do that we will talk about favorites, filters and collections. Those three elements and let's say tool inside Unreal Engine are quite useful, especially on big scale projects. If you have, let's say, a lot of collaborators and you need to share some specific data like level artist and level designer who need fast and easy to use folders. So we can create those folders for them and share them with Perforce or source control, but also with custom project.ini that we can share, because the only one we can share with Perforce or source control is collection, but filters and favorites cannot be shared instantly. All right, so let's jump right into it.
Alright, so let's say you have a project inside Unreal like me. Even though all your data is well arranged like this with a lot of different folders, it can be overwhelming to find something specific. So right off the bat, we can already see three of them: the filters here, the favorites here, and the collection here. So we'll start with the collections. So at the beginning, you will have 0 collection. You will need to click on the plus icon here, and 3 different options shows up. Local collection, it will be collection only on your local Unreal project, and you can share them. So of course, to be able to share your collection, you will need to be connected with source control, but if you have source control enabled, this will appear in white. So that's for creating and sharing. So I will select local collection. I can go to my props and go to my static meshes props, and I can select one static mesh, drag and drop it, and as you can see, it adds my static mesh into the collection. I can rename it here static meshes. Can do underscore static meshes. I will rename it props. You also can select several assets in the same time, drag and drop, and it will add all your selection. You can also select everything, right click, manage collection, and add them to your static mesh props collection. Up, as you can see, the number increased. So if I go back to this collection, I can see all my assets and I can use them in my levels. One thing you can do is right click on it. You can set the color. If you have several collection, let's say gameplay props, I can, for example, take all my static mesh in the folder gameplay and drag and drop them here. And as you can see, my collection are updated. And it's not just for static meshes. For example, I can go to textures and I can take my texture and drag and drop them. As you can see, it appears on my collection. So it's for whatever you want to put in your collection: static meshes, textures, materials, material instances. It's up to you. What you can also do is to go to the reference viewer of the asset you want to create a collection with. And as you can see, it opens a little window with all the references of this master material called stone. If I right click on it, I can make a collection with referencers or dependencies. References is what is before the master material stone, and dependencies what is after. And again, you can create local, private or shared collection. So I will create a local one. And as you can see, it created me a stone dependencies collection. And here you have all the dependencies in one search folder, so it can be very useful if you're looking for all the references of this trash can, for example. You can make a collection with the dependencies. And as you can see, it created me all the dependencies of my trash can. So it can be really useful. And you can update the share type after by right-clicking on it and set the share type here. For me, it's gray out because I'm not linked to source control, so I only have local available for me. So that's for the collection. We can now use a favorite. Favorites are created and used only for folders. So if I take an asset, for example, a sound wave asset, I can't add it to my favorites. But for example, sound UI, I can add this to my favorite, and I can also set the color to something different. I can take, for example, my blockout meshes, add to favorite, set the color to something new or already created, and so on. And finally, you can remove favorite folder just by right-clicking on it and remove from favorites. So that's for the favorite. It's a really quick one. It's local, so it's only on your project, on your side. It's not shared, but we will see later how to share it. And now, last but not least, the filters. They are located here at the left of the search bar of your content browser. So you have already created filters that can be really useful. You can search for materials, you can search for static meshes, stuff like that. So it's really useful and time saving to use filters, and you can also create new filters. How do it work? So each data in the resource browser of Unreal can be called by a command, for example static meshes. If I type static mesh here and I select static mesh, you can see it's right, type equal static mesh. If I click on enter, it only shows me static meshes. So with those commands, I can select all, Control C to copy it. I can create a custom filter here. So I can name it static meshes with a color. And the filter string is the command. So I can pass type equal static mesh. Great. Alright, so create and apply will select it, and just create will add it in your filter tab here. If I click on it, it will show me all the static mesh of my project. I can create, let's say, another one to show you. I can name it textures, and we can type equal texture. Create and apply, and it will show me all the texture of the project. So this is how to create custom filters, but basic one. Now I will show you how to create more complex filters with subtractive and additive, filters by name, filters by texture dimensions, and stuff like that. If you want, for example, to create the filters with multiple data in it, you can, for example, say static mesh SM plus T for static mesh plus texture, let's say. So we'll say type equal static mesh in the filter string. Then you will need to use Alt plus 124 and then type equal texture. So it will only show me all the textures and the static meshes. So that's how you can do multiple data searching with one filter. Another thing is if you don't want this filter tab to appear, you can right click and remove all filters. It will disappear, but don't worry, it doesn't delete from the project the filters. You can always find them in the custom filter here. It's just deleting the display of the custom filters, but they are stored here. So I can choose it here and enable, disable it again. Alright, now let's say you want to create a filter to search only 2K or 1K texture or whatever. We can say textures 1K. And in the filter string, you can type dimensions with an S, it's important, equal, and whatever the texture size is. So it can be this, it can be 1K, whatever. create and apply, and it will show you all the textures only in 1K resolution. Alright, you can do that. Let's say you want now to create a filter by name. So let's say I just want the textures of the bucket right here. I can create a new custom filter name bucket textures, for example. And what you will need to do is to write type equal texture and bucket. Create and apply, and as you can see, it only shows me the texture with the name bucket in it. It can be something like SM or whatever. It's and 3 dots. It's whatever you want to call here, with a space between the end with whatever you want to call it. So it can be bottle, it can be SM, it can be whatever you want. As you can see, if I want to edit this custom filter, I can left click here on the little draw icon. Alfred, up, and as you can see, I've got all the texture with Alfred in the name. So that's how you can filter by name. Now let's see how you can create an exclusion filter or a subtractive filter. Up, create a custom, and I will call it without static meshes, for example. You need to write type static mesh, but just before the equal you need to type an exclamation mark. And here we go, this filter is showing me all the data except static meshes, as you can see. One thing weird worth to notice is when we want multiple data to be shown by the filter, we need to add this with Alt 124 and say type equal texture, type equal static mesh, etc. But for the subtractive or exclusion filters, we don't need this. You can just add a little space in between the exclusion string and type, let's say, texture. You don't need this mark. You don't need it. I don't know why you need it when it's additive, but when it's subtractive, you don't need it. Here I'm saying show me everything, but without the static meshes. Show me everything but the textures, and you can go on and add as much as you want subtractive string. Save, and as you can see, it shows me everything but textures and static meshes. Also, how you can delete custom filters: just go in custom filters, left click on the draw icon and just press delete. So that's how you can do subtractive, additive, texture resolution filters, and that covers pretty much it. That being said, in the outliner you have kind of similar workflow, let's say. As you can see here, if I click on you have like custom filters here too. I already created one called static mesh, and if I click on it, it only shows me data related to static meshes. It works the same way. As you can see, static mesh, you can create let's say preset buttons to search in the outliner stuff. But for example, I can create a new filter called light. Up in the filter string, just type light, for example. I make it yellow, create and apply, and it will show me only data with light in their name. And as you can see, it added a little button here, so I can create a new filter called blueprint, for example, maybe BP, let's say in blue. So this blueprint filter only show me what has BP in their name. So those filters can also be really handy. Now, before jumping into the color palette tool, I will show you how you can share the filters, favorites to other collaborators on your project, and that's really handy. So for that, you need to go to the Epic Game Launcher, go to Library, search for your project. So for me, it's this one. Right click on it, show in folder. Up, go to Saved, Config, Windows Editor, and you will have Editor per Project User Settings, and that you can share it. So for example, if I copy, paste it into another project, for example this one, you see there is another per project setting. So if I copy paste the editor per project user settings in the other project, I can open it. And now, as you can see, it's added in this new project. The 3 filters I created and the custom filters I created. Those 2 favorites folders has not been shared. Why? Because it's kind of logic, but I don't have a blockout and a UI folder in this project, so it cannot find the folder, so it didn't created those 2 favorites folder. But if you do favorites with folders that are in both projects, you can easily do it. For example, if I go to content and do, let's say, starter content and add to favorites, you can see it right here. And I will copy paste again the editor per project user settings.ini. If I open again the other project with the Epic Game Launcher, library, video, open, and as you can see, it shared the favorite folder starter content. And now we will see how to use the actor palette. So first you need to enable the color palette tool by going to edit plugin, then type palette and activate the actor palette beta plugin. Click on yes and restart your engine. Alright, so now that the project is open, go to tools, go to actor palette, and you can activate 4 different actor palette windows, but we will only use one, so actor palette 1. And then you will need to choose a level. So I highly recommend you to do like me, a custom level with just a floor and all your static meshes instantiated in it to be able to pick them easily with just a skylight and directional light, nothing crazy, to be able to load the level very fast, because if the actor palette needs to load a very big and complex scene, we lose the use of this feature. So don't do complex and AV levels for your actor palette. So as you can see with this little tool, I can now have my level in a little windows, and I can simply just drag and drop all the meshes from the actor palette to my main world. So it's really useful, and as you can see, you can create custom levels and several custom levels. So let's say you can create one for foliage, one for rocks, one for buildings, one for props, whatever. So as you can see, it can really help and speed up the workflow for the level artists and level designers to create really fast and good looking maps. Alright, so to sum up, we saw how to create different tools to help managing the data with your collaborators using source control or Perforce. So for example, collections, filters, custom filters, favorites folders, and also filters in the outliners. And we saw how to use the actor palette. Alright, thank you for watching and bye bye!